Good day, doctor. Today I will be presenting about emergency calls. This is just a short introduction. Calls for emergency assistance are operated by a range of organizations, including police authorities, medical institutions, and dedicated dispatch centers. I will be presenting 2 case studies on emergency calls. The first case study is about a woman who called 911 for domestic violence. Even though she is just a witness, she was on the same premise as the abuser and the abused. The relationship between her and the abused is mother-daughter. The abuser was the boyfriend of the mother, and he was also assaulting the mother. The Oregon 911 dispatcher tries to decipher the conversation as the daughter disguises it as ordering a pizza. The following 2 slides will be the transcript for this case study. This is the linguistic methods of analysis for case number 1. Firstly, we have the 5 distinct phases. The first one, opening, as the call takers say Oregon 911. It includes the identification. Number 2, requests. The caller quotes, "You're not understanding," can be an implicit request for help when he told her that this is the wrong number to call for pizza. Interrogative, we have an apartment, you need medical. Is the other guy still there? Further information would be the who. She did not disclose her identity. The what. Call taker made a judgment that it is indeed domestic violence when asking questions, and she agreed with everything. The why did not particularly disclose or directly disclose it was domestic violence, but it is to prevent from further harm. The location, she did give her address and the apartment number. And when the emergency happened, it might be currently witnessing the abuse or trying to prevent from further harming the mother. Next, we have response. We will get them going, which indicates sending the police officer to the premise. Closing would be alright. We will get them going once information is relayed to the officer. Next, we have to elicit response. For the caller, there are no demands, no description, no narrative, and very indirect requests of help. There is reciprocity of perspective. It's considered successful as the caller was persistent with no, you're not understanding, and the call taker finally understanding, I'm getting you now. Next, we have the information. The location is given, as mentioned before. The nature, by using pizza order to report domestic violence occurring. What's interesting is that the caller responses are a combination of the truth and the pizza order by saying, "Yep, I need a large pizza, no, with pepperoni." Important to observe that the first words are the truth responses, consisting of just yes and no. For this context, it makes sense to ensure the safety of the victims and not to make the situation worse. Lastly, we have the call taker using back channeling by repeating all right. This case is considered as successful because the police managed to arrest the abuser and locked him up. The charges that were given: public intoxication, pedestrian hazard on highway, domestic violence, which prevents more harm to both mother and daughter. This is the second case study. A kidnapper abducted a 4-year-old girl while she was playing outside. The neighbors witnessed the abduction and have reported to 911 emergency call. The kidnapper then drove away to a park while the father was also chasing him from behind. Once arrived at the park, the father chased him until the kidnapper drove away from the park, with the father following behind him too. For this case study, there will be no transcript because the context is easily understood, unlike case number 1, and the transcription is quite lengthy as well, but some of the information will be referred in the analysis slide. These are the linguistic methods of analysis for case number 2. Similarly to the previous case, we have the 5 distinct phases. We have the opening with 911 and "Hi, can I help you?" Then number 2, we have the request, which is report a kidnapping, requesting for police officer rather than ambulance or fire brigade. We have interrogative. We have what happened, does anyone know who he is, what address are you at, is he white, black, or Hispanic, what kind of vehicle is it, what park, what's the license plate, what is your phone number, what is your name. For this transcript, there are quite numerous questions related to the kidnapper, location, and the nature of the kidnapping. The responses would be, we need to make contact with you at the park the right. And the closing would be, we're on our way, okay? Thank you and bye-bye. For the information, we have who, the neighbor called 911, as she was also a witness, quote-unquote, I was a neighbor. The what would be the kidnapping or abduction. The why she called was because she witnessed a child abducted. Where from her neighborhood to the park that was mentioned. When she called during the witness of the abduction. We have the continuation. We have illicit responses. For caller, she mostly requests and explain or describe in narrative style. For the call taker, she uses quite a lot of interrogative series. Confirmation by repetition. What kind of vehicle is it? What's the plate? What's the plate license? And further clarification by saying an example, asking for the plate license, and clarifies with 5X like X-ray, B like boys, Z like zebra, 645, and also demand, I need this information, give me the letters again. The continuation of the information previously. The details of the kidnapper has been recorded, the location of the abduction as well. Information significantly increases. The information that is continued to be added is the kidnapper and the location. Extra analysis. For the context, it's the same case, but with different neighbor as the witness and different 911 dispatcher. The call taker reassured the neighbor by repeating, "It's okay, we've got everybody on the way already, okay?" And the caller demands, "I need somebody here right now, right away." The call taker asks, specifically, "Are you asking for ambulance or the police department?" As he does not know, he does not have any context. And then the call taker requests, "I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, okay, just to help us out." Interestingly enough, the call taker also asks questions about the little girl, unlike the previous call taker, such as her ethnicity, her appearance, where she lives, and so forth. Lastly, the call taker actually becomes the reflector empathizer, as the call taker reassures the caller again. When the caller said, "Oh, I've never seen nothing like that before," he responded with, "Oh, I know, it's okay. We've got people on the way. Hopefully." We can only hope that it's somebody that she knows and he's just being an idiot, like maybe a child custody thing or something like. This case is considered as successful because the police managed to arrest the kidnapper and was faced felony charges of kidnapping, kidnapping a child under 14 years old, 2 counts of assault with deadly weapon other than a gun, and kidnapping to commit robbery or rape. Thank you for listening to this presentation.